Once upon a time, in a gloomy and eerie forest on the outskirts of the city, stood a mental asylum constructed in the early 1900s. With its towering dark stone walls reaching towards the sky and rusty iron gates, this building once served as a refuge for desperate cases. However, as years passed by, the hospital turned into an abandoned ghost city. One night, a group of adventurous youths decided to explore the old mental asylum. The dim light seeping through broken glass windows cast sinister shadows inside the building. The sound of the wind echoing through the dark corridors attempted to break their courage, but their curiosity prevailed. Quietly, they opened the rusty door of the hospital and stepped inside. The scene that greeted them was terrifying. The corridors were empty, the walls old and decaying. As they ascended the rusty stairs, their hearts pounded rapidly with each step. As they moved from one room to another, the building seemed to tremble around them. Strange noises echoed between the walls, as if the walls of the hospital were speaking and recounting old sins. The breath of the youths caught in their throats, but they remained determined to venture deeper. Finally, when they reached the lowest floor of the hospital, they discovered the true horror. It resembled a labyrinth with cells where patients were treated. Insane scribbles etched onto the walls bore traces of a world ruled by madness. Suddenly, a scream pierced the air. The youths huddled together, their hearts pounding as if ready to leap out of their chests. One of them tremulously shouted, "Who's there?" but received no answer. As they navigated the dark corridors, they felt the breath of a ghost on their necks. Shadows leaped from the walls, enveloping them. Despite their attempts to flee in panic, they found themselves lost within the labyrinth. In the depths, whispers of ghosts echoed. Once tormented souls in this hospital, they now beckoned the youths into their dark world. Trapped between life and death within the abandoned mental asylum, they were dragged towards the infinite embrace of darkness. As the youth struggled within the labyrinth, they became lost amidst screams and whispers. Shadows trailed them, and with each step through the dark corridors, they sank deeper into the abyss. Coming to a halt in one room, they held their breaths and surveyed their surroundings carefully. The walls were adorned with the scribbles and vocabulary of deranged patients, written in vivid red blood. The surroundings were silent, with only the rapid beating of their hearts and trembling breaths audible. Suddenly, a shadow emerged. At first faint, it gradually solidified into a figure. Illuminated by a pale light, the youth's faces froze with fear. It was the ghost of the hospital staff. The ghost's eyes were hollow, as if lost in the depths of its soul. Its hands reached out, tracing strange symbols around the youths. These magical symbols surrounding them formed a gateway, like a door. Confusion clouded the youth's minds, but they felt compelled to move forward. Perhaps this was an exit shown to them by the cursed spirits of the dark hospital. Without hesitation, they passed through the gateway created by the ghost. Emerging from the gateway, they found themselves outside the abandoned hospital building. The silence of the night replaced the screams and whispers. Under the moonlight, the dark silhouette of the old building still watched over them. The youths took a deep breath, leaving behind their fear-filled adventure as they walked away. However, the ghosts of the dark mental hospital still haunted their souls. Perhaps it would remain an unforgettable and inescapable nightmare forever. As the youths distanced themselves from the abandoned mental asylum, they journeyed with the lingering fear and unease still residing in their hearts. The horrifying moments they had experienced in the past seemed to haunt them like ghosts lingering in their minds. However, as they stepped outside, they felt a slight sense of relief wash over them. Yet the impact of their experiences that night would not fade away easily. The dark traces etched into their minds were unforgettable. Every night, they would wake up haunted by the nightmare of feeling the breath of the asylum's ghosts on their necks. As time passed, the youths attempted to forget the horrific ordeal they had endured. However, forgetting proved impossible. The ghosts of the abandoned mental asylum still lingered, waiting to draw them back into their dark realms. One day, one of them turned to the others and asked, Were the experiences we had that night truly real, or were they just our own nightmares? The others nodded silently, feeling a sense that a voice within them affirmed that everything they had experienced that night was indeed real. The abandoned hospital still quietly awaited outside the city, nestled within the dark forest. It was not merely a structure, but also a monument carrying the traces of the past. Perhaps the events that occurred there would remain unforgettable, filled with yet undiscovered dark secrets. And who knows, maybe one day, other brave souls would open the doors of that old building and experience their own terrifying tales.